Hi, this is Carlton Cullins, and welcome to the Blue Sky Strongbox. Hey, this is Carlton Cullins, personal trainer and nutrition specialist here in Austin, Texas. Also the owner of the Blue Sky Strongbox, and today I want to talk more again about interval training. It's the third week in a row now. I know it's a lot, but I can't talk about it enough. Last week I gave an example of workouts for interval workout for a beginner, one for an intermediate, and one for the advanced. This week I want to give you different ideas for each of those. So I'm going to start off with the beginner workout. If you're a beginner and you happen to be working out at a gym and you happen to like using a treadmill or an elliptical machine or stationary bike or whatever you like to use, continue doing that. You'll just do your interval training on that. You can do it anywhere. Other ideas that are, if you don't have access to gym, you don't have any equipment at all, you can do jumping jacks. Do jumping jacks as fast as you can, as hard as you can for 30 seconds. Doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. You could jump rope. You could also step up. You could find a step in the front of your house, step up for 30 minutes. Just something, something simple. Be very careful when you're doing it. This is kind of a tall step, but just to give you an idea, it doesn't have to be anything more complicated than that. That's beginner stuff. Very, very simple. For intermediate, we'll try something else. Alright, for the intermediate intervals, I'm assuming that you're already doing resistance training and you're already doing cardio, so there's lots of different things we can do that are a little bit more advanced. So, simple stuff. I'm just talking about simple stuff today. First and foremost, you can do 10 burpees and then rest for the remainder of a minute for your intervals, the interval that I talked about last week. So all a burpee is where you drop down, do a push-up, come back up, jump to the top. 10 of those, rest for the remainder of the minute, start over at the top of the minute, do 10, and you repeat that for however long you're doing your cardio. Last week I gave the example for 15 minutes. Another good example is take a cinder block, which is about 30 pounds, it's perfect, and do kettlebell swings. If you don't know how to do a kettlebell swing, look it up on the internet, be careful with your back. You can do those. Do that for 15 seconds, that would be your interval. Another good example is take the same cinder block or 2 dumbbells, whatever you're going to use. I like to keep it simple. Like I said, and you can do a push press. Get a nice deep squat, push press to the top, back stay straight. You could do that for 15 seconds or maybe 10 of those. That'd be roughly 15 seconds for your interval. Another crazy idea, it's kind of fun, is take an old tire and maybe throw the crap out of it. Throw it. Throw that down. Throw that thing about 10 times. That could be your interval. You could do just about anything. For anyone feeling really ambitious, you could use resistance training exercises for your intervals and get everything done. Your resistance training workout and your cardio workout done at the same time. You just need to be really careful. Last week on the intermediate workout, I had a 15-minute long, is what I recommended for the example. You could take exercises, one exercise for the first 5 minutes, a different exercise for the next 5 minutes, and the last 5 minutes you could use whatever you wanted. So a good example of that would be maybe a push, a pull, and some kind of leg exercise. So maybe the first 5 minutes, your intervals, 15 seconds will be push-ups. Maybe the next 5 minutes when you do intervals, you do pull-ups, and maybe the last 5 minutes you do squats. You can do whatever. But that's a great way to do it. If you wanted to go heavier than that, you could put a load on that'll actually add resistance, whatever rep range you're going for. You could use any exercises. You could also double up and not use the example I had last week and do, say, a superset. 2 or 3 exercises all linked together. Do maybe a push, a pull, and a leg exercise. All 3, one right after the other, and then take a break for a minute, and then start another. You could do that. In that minute rest, instead of just sitting on your butt and doing nothing, you could do a plank. Just a regular old plank for that minute rest if you want to get really serious. There's a million different ways to do it. All you got to do is just be creative. Another great exercise, and one that I use a lot, is just a touch jump. It's really simple. If you have the ability to do it, it's a great one that you can do, but typically it's going to be more intermediate or advanced. But it looks something like this. For a beginner, you just want to try to touch the ground and come up and jump lightly. If you did 10 of those for your interval, you'd probably be doing really good. For intermediate advanced, feeling pretty good, touch the ground flat-handed, jump up. If you want to get really crazy, touch the ground flat-handed, bring your legs up to your chest. You can do anything. Being explosive, trying to exhaust yourself, trying to push the envelope, that's the key to interval training, but be careful. Typically for advanced intervals, the Tabatas, you can pretty much do anything that I showed today in the video. Just make sure that your form is good and that you're gonna, that you're being careful. It's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds of rest. That 10 seconds goes by lightning fast. You're gonna get tired, so you need to be able to do something that you can maintain your form for 4 minutes. It doesn't sound like long, but it'll kick your butt. So be careful. I don't really recommend doing heavy resistance training when you do Tabatas. I definitely wouldn't go over probably 60% of a 1 rep max on anything. But be careful with those and try those. Now I showed some stuff today that you might not be able to do, and that's fine. I wasn't going to show you walking or treadmill and stuff like that because I think you can figure that on your own. But all that stuff works just as well. Don't be scared by anything I did today. I know I was showing kind of some crazy stuff, throwing center blocks and tires around, but you don't need to do all that stuff. If you're a beginner, you're starting off, go slow. You can use anything. You use a simple treadmill. You can walk around your neighborhood. Just when the interval comes up, it's time to do the interval. Push yourself. You've got to push yourself. That is the key to getting as much out of it. You get out of it what you put into it. So put everything you got. Be careful. Ask me questions if you have any, and I will see you next week. Bye. One final thing I want to make sure to add before I go is if you are heavy, if you're really overweight and you're beginning, take it easy and go really slow. You probably don't need to be doing a lot of jumping. You probably don't need to be doing a lot of what they call weight-bearing exercises because it might hurt your joints, might hurt your ankles, knees, back, things like that. So you want to start slow and go, be really careful in the beginning. Good things for that are like stationary bikes or maybe lightly walking around the neighborhood, pushing the envelope when you're doing your envelope. You want to walk briskly, and maybe if you can handle some light jogging, maybe walking, marching with your knees up in a pool actually works really, really well, but just be careful. There's nothing wrong with doing that stuff. If it's a challenge to you, it's beneficial. So challenge yourself, and I'll see y'all next week.